friends, hello, welcome back to my channel. She Says Happiness. I'm Mary Ellen, just in case you've happened across my channel and you haven't been here before, and this is basically just where I come and chat about sewing or life in general or anything really that comes to mind. So here I am back again after a short hiatus. I am now finished work for 2023. I am so happy about this. I can't even tell you how happy I am about this. I have had what could only be described as the most migraine inducing week of my life. Yeah, people kind of joke with me like, oh, you're a librarian, so like that's a really nice job. Do you sit and read books? And you know, how many cats have you got and how many cardigans are in your wardrobe? I'm in library management, so like any form of management, it comes with its pressures and its stresses, and dealing with people always is very time consuming. So it's not that I sit and read books. In fact, ever since I started working in libraries rather than teaching, my reading has dropped significantly. So like if I was to go back to 2014, 2015, I was probably reading somewhere in the remit of 250 to 300 books a year. I can easily read a book in a day, and particularly when I wasn't driving, if I was taking the train to work, I would have always been reading on the train. I just have a very trained reading eye. And I remember once actually, someone I was seeing a long time ago, my early 20s, was watching me as I was reading one day, and he said, Mariel, what are you reading? I said, oh, just this novel about whatever. And he goes, no, but like, is it a novel or does the book have pictures? I was like, no, it's a novel. It's pretty small print. And he's kind of looking a bit disturbed and freaked out. And he goes, I actually can't sit in a room with you because it's scary how quickly you read, and it's really quite off-putting. Like, oh, okay. And I never thought of myself as a fast reader or a speed reader, but I suppose books have been an integral part of my life since my earliest memories. Something that I'm trying to instill in my little boy as well, because stories, learning, these are the things that make us human. And I don't understand people who don't read, to be perfectly frank. I think you're missing an awful lot. You're missing perspective, you're missing objectivity, you're missing experiences if you don't read. So it's very important for me that he learns that from an early age, and he gets that love of reading and the passion for reading. But yeah, I do read quite quickly, but things have changed significantly in the last few years. If I read 50 books a year now, that's really good going. And it's not just work either. I think it's because sewing has become such a massive mainstay of my day. Even if I only get 10 minutes to do something, whether it be check out a new pattern, read over instructions, cut something out, pre-wash my fabric, there's always something that I'm doing that is sewing related, which I have no issues with. But I would love to gain more hours in the day just so I can actually sit and read. And of course I can't do much of that now with a 1-year-old looking for attention 100% of the time when he's awake, and that's fine. Don't begrudge it at all. The day will come when I have lots of time to read. And then I'll be wishing I didn't. So you take it as it comes, don't you? So, right, today then, I am going to try and get stuff done. I tend to procrastinate a lot. Hello, Vlogmas. When I have cutting out to do. And it takes me a long time to get to the cutting out. It takes me no time at all to sew. The sewing part is the easiest part of the project. It's the fitting and the cutting and all that that takes most of my time. And even prepping, I mean, even, you know, getting the interfacing and stuff sorted and the stay stitching, all of those bits is what takes all of the time. Anyone can sew 2 pieces of fabric together. But it's all the other bits and pieces that make the garment perfect and long lasting, and that's what we're here for. So today, I've got pajamas to cut out for Henry. I have got my Cosido patterns Lima dress to cut out, and it's going to take quite a bit because I need to cut out the main fabric, the overlay fabric. I need to sandwich those together and stitch them together, and I also need to cut out the lining as well. So there's a lot of cutting involved in that pattern. It's a pattern I've made 5 times before. It's just beautiful. It's a very simple aesthetic. So it's got gorgeous princess seamed v-necked bodice. It's zipped and it has a gathered skirt, which is simple, but it has the most divine puff sleeve. The sleeve just elevates it that little bit more. So I'm looking forward to stitching that up, and I shared the fabrics for that in my last video. I have another project that is making it high up the list because it has a time constraint to it. So I'm now so over at Pattern Insider. I'm so excited. I used to get really jealous when I saw that people had already sewed up the patterns and they were released. So yeah, I'm now so over at Pattern Insider, and I have just received copy shop prints of a new pattern that is coming. So I am going to stitch that up today. It's not something I ordinarily would have made myself, but as a mom of a 1-year-old, my fashion choices are being compromised, let's say. So I don't have the time anymore to do the pin curls and to set my hair and things in the morning. So I don't always feel like I want to wear my vintage inspired looking outfits. I still do love a good, you know, fitted dress, but I'm going to try and play more with separates. And if you've been around my channel for a while, you'll know I don't really do separates. I am a dress a day person, but I just want to give myself a little bit more variation, and also because it's the colder months, I like the layering. So we'll see, we'll play with it a little bit, see what works, see what doesn't. So this pattern is a separates pattern, and I'll see how I get on with that. So that's made it high up the list as well because I think it needs to be made for Monday. This is now Friday, and yeah, after today I have no time because Henry's in nursery for a few hours. I actually went this morning and had coffee with my boss, which was lovely. That's the one good side of my job. I have a really nice boss. So yeah, even on your day off, you don't resent spending time in the workplace in that regards. So yeah, now I've got myself refreshed and another large coffee, and I should be able to achieve something today. Other than that, I'm trying to be realistic about what I can actually achieve for my Christmas sewing this year. I have so many beautiful fabrics, not only novelty Christmas fabrics, but also really beautiful special fabrics. Another project I do want to make sure I get done before Christmas. Sorry, I'm sitting playing with pins. I don't know what it is. I'm just distracted today. I have time. I have time on my hands. I don't know what to do with it. So what was I saying? Yes, the other thing I do want to make, and I do want to make it before Christmas, is the cashmerette dewy dress. And I have the fabric here ready to go. I'm just waiting for copy shop prints coming from Jenny over at Jenny Stitches, and I got a Royal Mail notification that my parcel was coming on Monday. So I can't do anything about that now. I'll just have to wait until Monday and then see what time I can get next week. This is all bearing in mind I still have Christmas shopping to do, because aside from buying things for Henry, I'm screwed. I haven't got prepared this year at all. Colleagues were sorted, but that's because I knew I had a limited time at work. I would be leaving on the 14th and I would not be back until the new year. So apart from that, I still have a lot to do. I got some gifts for the kids when I was in Disneyland, but they got those already. We didn't keep those until Christmas. So yeah. Stuff to do. And then you've the awkward people to shop for, like, you know, my dad, who insists every year he doesn't need anything. Don't give me a present. I don't need anything. I've actually made him a lovely tie, a Liberty tie, which I shared with you in one of my last videos, but I don't know what he's getting for Christmas this year. No idea. I remember one year actually buying him tickets for, I think it was the Opera House. And you know, come with a limited date expiration as well. And I remember asking, well, what did you go see? Oh yeah, I forgot about those. So stuff like that isn't an option. It needs to be tangible in the here and now, or it'll just like be wasted. I would have used them happily had he told me. But yeah, so I still have all of that to do, but today I am just going to be cutting, and then at least I know that there are things that I can pick up if and when I have the time. So yeah, I'll come back and report if I make much progress. I am going to drink my coffee and I'm going to decide what pajama pattern to actually use. A few of you sent recommendations on my last video, so thank you very much. Go look at those now and watch the space and we'll see what happens. It's Friday, isn't it? It's Friday. Yeah. Might go to the Christmas market later as well. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. I'll be back at some point this afternoon or this evening. Right, so it's now 6:30. I'm not gonna lie, progress has been pretty slow. So basically, it must have been about 12:30 when I was last chatting to you. I don't even remember, probably about 12:30, maybe a bit later. And instead of just cutting out, I started layering over the mesh, over this satiny fabric. I need to look it up because I'm not really sure what it is. I can't remember. It was a while ago whenever I ordered it, and to be honest, I don't recommend it. Not for this anyhow. Firstly, there was that issue of the creases, and you can see here, no matter how much ironing I'm doing, the creases just aren't disappearing. So thankfully, it's just an underlayer. That shouldn't matter so much. But it frays so easily as well. And it is so slippery and it seems to be stretching out as I go. So I'm praying that once I put this on, the neckline actually sits better than what it does when I pop it on the mannequin, which isn't great. But I love the sleeves. So I've just done a quick French seam to stitch those up. And I'm overlocking the bottom of the sleeve and I'm just going to stitch before I put in the elastic, because the way in which I wear it, I'm not going to see it anyhow, so there's no point in taking an absolute age to do that. But that's what I've done, and that has taken the bulk of a couple of hours, just with the cutting being such a pain, and also just sandwiching layers together and doing the overlay. So yeah, I spent maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours working as slowly as I usually do, to be honest. And then I went to pick up Henry from nursery, which took forever. It's a 4-mile trip, but it took about 45 minutes. And when we got home, he just wanted to snuggle and have a snooze, so that's what happened. And that's why it's now 6:30 and I haven't achieved very much at all. And that's just the name of the game, and that's how it goes. But I mean, I've done something. It hasn't been a total write-off in terms of my sewing. And we're going to go out now, do a little bit of shopping, and maybe later on this evening, whenever everything has settled down, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I might get to cut out the pieces for the skirt and get the gathers done and get that popped in. The sip will wait until I'm not tired, and at 10:30 at night, that's not going to be an option, so we're going to wait and do that maybe tomorrow. But that's where I am. We'll see how we go later on. Well guys, it's like 10 p.m. No more sewing was actually done, and we've had quite a hefty dinner, so I'm not going to be sitting sewing this evening. Turns out we actually went out shopping and Henry was able to get all of his little cousins their Christmas presents, so that was a much nicer way of spending the time. He got to share a little of my hot chocolate as well. So very, very happy boy. So yeah, I'm calling it a night. I'll quickly edit this, upload it if the internet out here is playing ball with me tonight, and hopefully catch up with you more tomorrow with a little bit more sewing success. Take care.